Today, we're talking about how to get your home ready for property photos when you're selling it. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Jeff Abel with the Abel team here in beautiful Estes Park, Colorado. And here on our channel, we like to talk about all things real estate in the Estes Valley and share what it's like to live in one of the most beautiful places in Colorado. Today, we continue our Ask the Expert series, and we're talking home photos with our in-house creative director, Scott Rafferty, otherwise known as Raff. Thanks, Scott, Raff, whoever you are, for joining us today. So, you've been doing our photos for quite a while now, and you've done photos for other agents and brokers as well, all over northern Colorado.
Hundreds of homes.
And so you've seen everything at this point, probably.
Pretty much.
Today we want to talk about just some tips to help them get ready for photo day. And there's some things they probably need to be doing a few days before. They don't want to put off until the day of photos. What are some of those things they can do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days out?
I'm going to say the biggest thing you can do is to think less is more. So you want to pare back anything that's like extra in your home. You can take family photos off the walls. You don't really want them on the MLS for the world to see. You know, if you walk into a room and it feels cluttered, you want to try to make it not feel cluttered. I'm going to do my best to present the rooms the best that they can possibly be presented, but doing your part and just sort of like paring back. You know, don't have a million blankets on the beds. Don't have stuff all over the coffee table. You know, just think less. Just think less.
Okay, so let's talk about specific rooms. What are some tips in the kitchen, maybe?
Cleaning off your refrigerator is huge. You know, you don't want Johnny's school schedule up there and, you know, pictures of your nieces and nephews. Clean, crisp, less is more.
Yep.
Clean counters. You just want to sort of clean everything off the counters. You know, a lot of people, they'll have blenders and juicers and toasters, and it takes away from showing that counter space. The buyers to be able to picture their own stuff there.
And well, and it makes the counters look bigger.
Yes.
Makes the kitchen look bigger as well. So stick them in a cabinet or the garage.
You could throw them in the garage, you could throw them in a coat closet, pantries. If you're really in a bind for space, you can fill the bathtub up with stuff and just make sure the curtain is shut.
So kitchens sell homes.
Yeah.
Kitchens are probably the most important room for photos. And so everything you can do to make that look good is going to, again, help you get top dollar for your house. Talk about bedrooms. Okay, so bedrooms.
Bedrooms, same deal, you know, you want to pare it back. You have a lot of junk on top of your dresser, make sure your bed is made, you know, just, you think you're having a photo shoot, you know, imagine your house is going to be in a magazine, you know, you walk in and you think, would I want this to be on a magazine cover? No, put it away, no one wants to see that.
Well, and I mean, think about, for those watching the video, think about all the MLS photos you've seen where beds are sort of made, but not really made. Pillows are kind of messy. Think about what's going to be attractive to you. I like to think, again, that magazine, that catalog. If you're shopping for a bedspread, what are they going to be showing you in the photos? And try to get your house to look as close to that, probably, right?
For sure. I mean, I talk to realtors, I talk to owners, we talk, you know, price and things like that. And I think if you had a $400,000 car that you were going to, you know, have a photo shoot for and sell, you would clean the car. You would detail the car. It would be spectacular for a $500,000 car. Why not act that way for your property, which is probably worth even more than that?
Talk about bathrooms.
Same deal, less is more. Get rid of your toothbrush, your soaps, your scrubs. You know, you want to get out a nice towel. If you have ratty hand towels, just go to Bed Bath & Beyond, buy a couple fresh ones, fold them on the counter. You know, anything you can do to sort of take it up a notch, even just a little bit, is going to make a big difference.
Okay. And then showers, you said they could hide things in there.
You can hide things in the shower, you know, not if you have glass doors or a clear curtain. But, you know, be mindful about what you're putting in there. With bathrooms, you're usually going to shoot the shot right when you walk into the door. So typically it'll be the sink to the right, you know, the tub straight back. You know, just Angle it. See, can I see what's in the tub from the door through the mirror?
Right.
And if you can't, you're probably in.
Typically you're looking at, I'm guessing then probably just fixtures in the shower, not the other end of the shower.
Right. Generally speaking, I'll keep the shower curtain closed unless it's something to show off. If you have nice tile, nice hardware, things like that, we want to feature that.
Okay. Pantries and closets and things like that.
If you have a stellar pantry or a knockout closet with a chandelier and a counter in the middle, you're gonna want photos of it. You're gonna want to show that off. But generally speaking, I don't need to go into pantries or closets.
Okay. And then main living areas.
Sort of the same deal, you know, we want to, if you have extra furniture or if it feels cluttered, if it feels tight in there, you want to try to remove what you can so that it feels airy and feels movable through the space.
And again, these are things you can do kind of leading up to the day of, so you're not scrambling that day, especially if it's a morning photo shoot. The last thing you want to do is be scrambling around. What about kids' rooms? Those are always a challenge.
They are a challenge. A lot of times that'll be the first room that I shoot because little Johnny's on his way home from school and it's going to get torn up in a few minutes. But you know, it's that same rule of thumb. Just pare it back, pare it back. You want, you know, there's probably going to be toys, colorful things, which is not the best for photos, but you know, if you can organize it, if you can make it look neat and tidy, that's going to go a long way.
Anything else inside the house that they should be aware of kind of in those days leading up?
Not really. You just, you know, keep your eyes on a good fluff and buff, I like to call it. You know, go through each room, think about what can I improve in this one space. You don't have to spend a ton of time there, but just sort of touch each space and run it through that filter of, is there anything I can remove? Is there anything I can sort of place so that the room feels larger?
Yeah. And ideally their agent has given them kind of a punch list of, hey, here's some things. The grout looks really bad. Maybe you want to clean that up. Maybe you need to get it professionally cleaned if you've got pets and there's pet fur and that sort of stuff. So all of those are things that they can be doing prior to as well, if the agent suggested that.
For sure. And speaking of pets, you want to remove your pet crates, litter boxes, or at least let the photographer know when they get there, hey, there's a litter box in this bathroom. You know, we can shuffle it around to make sure that it's not in the shots or whatever.
Well, and one of the things we do is we're able to move things a little bit for them. A lot of photographers aren't going to probably do that. They're just going to shoot around it, or...
I would say most photographers are not going to actually touch the stuff. You know, it's like, I'm here to take photos, you should be ready. Personally, I have a more of an investment in the process. I want my pictures to look great, so I'm gonna go above and beyond to make sure that those chairs are aligned properly, or, you know, again, come back to that magazine feel. Like, what would you want to show in a magazine if your home was being shot for publication?
I think that's a great rule of thumb there. So that's some great info about inside the house. What about outside should they be doing the week before?
It again goes to that less is more thing. You want to, you know, people are going to see your house on the MLS. They're going to type your address in. People are going to drive by. You know, photos aside, you want to make sure that the outside looks good. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? You want your grass trimmed, get your leaves out of the way, make sure things are shoveled. If you have children, make sure the toys are tucked away, bicycles, things like that. A lot of times we'll, you know, roll up the hose real nice. You know, you just want it to be presentable.
Okay. So that's all leading up to photo day. You wake up the morning, photographer's coming that day. What should you be doing?
Hopefully you prepared and you're not running around like a lunatic trying to get everything dialed in, which unfortunately is sometimes the case. But you really want to make sure you're ready for me. So again, beds are buttoned up and made. I'm going to have you turn on every light bulb you have in the home. So that goes for the range, the bathroom, ceiling fan lights, literally every light bulb you have. I want that fired up because it's going to give the best possible result with the more light that we have going on in the space. Generally speaking, I'm going to open up every blind, every curtain. If you have a really nasty looking outside, maybe I'll forego that window, but as a rule of thumb, if you can open up your windows, blinds up, curtains up, that'd be great. Toilet seats down, bathrooms cleaned out. You know, obviously you're not gonna clean your shampoo and things days before, but day of, that's when you sort of want to do your sweep of your surfaces.
Okay. So basically just making sure all the surfaces, kitchen, bathrooms, dining room, all of those surfaces are cleaned up.
Yep.
And show really well when you do photos. Okay. Outside day of.
Not much to do if you've prepared properly. I would say cars in the driveway, that's probably the biggest thing. If you have multiple vehicles, I'm gonna have to move them out of the driveway. Sometimes there's only one person home and we gotta do some jockeying, but it's a good rule of thumb.
So typically you're not gonna be shooting garages.
Generally not. If you have an epoxy floor, I'm gonna shoot your garage. It's a great selling feature. If you have, awesome cabinetry or a workshop, if you have something that makes your garage not just a normal garage, then you want to sort of think about, I might be shooting.
So probably car not in there for those, and then out on the street.
And I mean, I have some people, they have classic cars and they want their classic car in there to show their shop. You know, it's all about providing an experience for the viewer. So they want to picture what they're going to be doing in the space. And if you have an amazing workshop in your garage, you're going to attract someone that wants a workshop. So you're going to want to feature the workshop and all of that it can do.
So any other staging items that you would recommend, as far as, should they have a table setting out or just leave the table empty?
I'm going to say empty is going to be preferred, just because it's going to give you clean lines and clean surfaces. So
unless you've had a professional stager in and has said, hey, do these things, if you're not having a stager, then I think just super clean and simple is the best bet.
Yep.
That's where we've had the best success. Okay, those are all great tips for prepping for photos. So when we show up on photo day, we're not just doing photos though. So we're also doing the 3D tour of the Matterport. And that's a little bit different than photos. Can you share a little bit about how that works and why that's important to have the house cleaned up?
So you got to think, when I go in with, my regular camera, I'm going to walk into your room. There might be an object that's, let's say, a playpen. I don't know. If you weren't able to get that away, there might be an object that is going to be in the shot. I'll move that out of the way. It'll be behind me for that photo. But chances are I'm going to go to the other corner next, and then that thing is going to either have to go into another room or it's going to follow behind me. You don't get that luxury with Matterport. Matterport, everything is seen. There's no hiding anything because it's a 360-degree camera. So you really have to think, spatially when you're talking about shooting a Matterport.
Okay. Another thing we also do is not just the photos in the Matterport, but we also shoot a video. And obviously that's going to be more like the Matterport probably than the photos, right?
It's generally the same. You're going to have to think about your vehicles again because I'll be flying into your space. So, as clean as the outside can be, that works better. But yeah, you got to think of it like the Matterport a little bit. Like, we're going to sort of see everything. There's not a lot of hiding when you're doing video.
Okay. And then the last thing we typically do is, obviously with the video, we're doing some drone videography, but we also typically do some drone photos. And so outside, day of, anything that needs to be done day of or the few days before with the drone.
If you're doing everything you need to do to prep beforehand, the drone shots aren't going to be much different than the regular terrestrial shots. You just want to make sure your cars are out of the driveway. That's probably the biggest thing. The only hiccup that sometimes I have with drone is very weather dependent. If it's a very windy day, I might not be able to fly, depending on how the realtor and the seller figure it out. Maybe I come back and get those shots. Maybe we just scrap the aerials for the video. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
Perfect. What are some of the weirdest things you've seen? You've done hundreds of homes. What are some of the most bizarre, weird things that you've seen when you're doing a photo shoot?
Ooh. Well, you got two kinds of people. You got the person that has done virtually nothing but thinks that they are ready for this magazine shoot. And then you have the person that is running around like a lunatic and you could eat off the floor, it's so clean, and they think it's still a mess. So it's kind of a fun fun dynamic to see what am I going to get on this shoot. But yeah, I've seen some interesting things. I think probably one of the most haunting things was a primary suite that had probably 30 dolls on the owner's bed, like old creepy dolls. I mean, that falls under the less is more category. Let's pare them back. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to yuck or yum, but it's not good for photos. So
Yeah, well, and nightmares for anybody that sees those photos, probably not a selling point.
yeah, and I don't want to be in that house by myself either.
For most of the
It's a
people.
little creepy.
It has its own demographic of who that would attract, probably.
Yep.
So we hope you found this helpful. If so, be sure to click the like button, hit subscribe, and the bell. That way you get notified when our video comes out next Monday. Also, be sure to check out these other videos that we think might be helpful in our Ask the Expert series to learn more about the home buying or selling process. Anything else you want to add, Raff?
No, it's been fun getting out from behind the camera for once. You know, maybe I'll come back.
Awesome. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments or give us a phone call. And if we get enough great questions, we will bring Raff back and shoot another video about those. So thanks again for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.